Hey everybody, it's John Lemesney. I'm sitting here with Sean Petrosky. How are you doing, Sean?
I'm doing great. Long time no see. How you doing?
Yeah, it's been a while. This is the Customer in the Service where we talk about customer service and discuss our experiences, talk about services that we think are great, services we think are not so great, and try to offer best practices for people who care. So, what are we going to talk about tonight, Sean?
I wanted to do a follow-up on a topic we discussed a few weeks ago. You had mentioned how you were starting to use an app on Android called Waze.
All the time.
Yeah, and we were talking about how they were thinking about Google was thinking about buying them, and I think it was like literally 2 days later they were purchased by Google
They
officially.
were. It was, I forget what the price was, but it was maybe $3 billion or something. I don't know. It was a lot of money.
Yeah, it was pretty significant. So I had like done a bunch of research on Waze after our discussion, and found out prior to them being bought by Google that they were actually on their way out with an app for Windows Phone. So I was anxiously anticipating that release because I really wanted to check it out. And then I found out that they were being bought by Google, and I felt that that would never happen, that the app would never come out.
Because
And
because Google has hate for Microsoft.
yes,
Yeah.
and all things Windows Phone and Windows 8. And
Well, it's not just them. I mean, let's be honest.
no, that's true. Um, so it actually was released last week officially, and the rumor seems to be that Google is allowing Waze to operate autonomously in the way that Microsoft allows Skype to operate autonomously, and that is the reason why Waze proceeded with releasing their Windows Phone app, which I thought was pretty awesome.
Have you done any editing of roads in Waze yet?
No, but I've been using it for about 2 weeks, I guess, right? Yeah, around 2 weeks, or a week. I don't remember. A full week, maybe coming up on 2 weeks. Taking trips that I pretty much know the way. Oh, there you are. Hello. What's going on?
I'm going to open up the Waze site.
Okay. I've used it on some trips to places I am familiar with, and used it for trips to places that I'm not familiar with. And I am completely blown away at how amazing.
It is really amazing, right? I leave it
It's
on even when I'm not even if I'm not going anywhere special. Like I just leave it on because you gain. It's got gamification built in.
Yeah, it does. And so for those of you that are not familiar with it, um, imagine the crowdsourced power of Foursquare combined with the world of navigation. So real-time information about police locations, construction, accidents, traffic cameras, um, all kinds of information that you as a traveler would want to learn on a road while you were traveling, updated in real time via a crowdsourced method. Um, Absolutely incredible service, beautiful, simple design of the app, um, very elegant interface, simple to use, very easy to understand. Um, and one thing too that is sort of maybe a concern for people that aren't familiar with it is, if I'm driving, how am I supposed to report these things? How am I supposed to read this information? And I think the Waze app does a really great job of putting the reporting functionality at a fingertip press. You don't have to go into 10 things and type something out to report things. And also too, I like the idea of how when you are slowing down or come to a stop, it will prompt you with information, like additional information, so they are cognizant of when you're driving and not driving. which I think is a really great service. Um, my one complaint is it's very ad heavy. I'm realizing
It
lots of
is
ad.
very, very ad. Every time you stop your car, you get told about Taco Bell.
Uh, I'm actually being told about some new movie with Kevin Hart very frequently.
Yeah,
And also, I'm being told where I can find the Microsoft Surface
yeah.
at all
It,
times.
well, it's funny because it is a free application,
Hmm.
and if you are in motion, it shows nothing. It
Correct.
never would show you an ad if you're in motion. But you're sitting in a light. It's so effective as an advertising method because you're sitting there trying to pass the time anyway.
Right.
You're looking. It's like the cereal box is the best thing in the world to read when you're sitting there munching on cereal.
Right.
It's not a good thing to read any other time, but at that particular time, it is the best thing in the world. You know.
Yeah. So the thing that's really awesome for me is the police notification.
Yep.
I had to drop Crystal off at her office in Philadelphia today, and I was driving to Princeton from Philadelphia at around 10 o'clock in the morning, and just was getting constant, like, as you approach a reported police area, you're asked to confirm the police still being there or not.
Exactly
And
right.
in real time, if you say that the cop is not there, it removes it from the map for everybody. Um, and you're rewarded with a point system for all these different things that you report or not report. Um,
Yeah, you can see here on I'm logged into the web-based version of Waze, and I'm up to 18,911 points. I've
that's crazy.
done 25 map updates. Like my road has never been right. My location has never been right in Google Maps, and it was
Right.
also incorrect in Waze, and so I just fixed it.
I think I have that problem also. I didn't realize you could update it. So that is something I'm actually logging to see real quick what I.
If you go to the live map like I am too, you can see right here. You do a search for a location.
Let me see where it shows up. Mm.
And you can edit that right from there.
I'm trying to remember what my login is here. It's not letting me log in here. Let me see real quick. The login is your username or your email address. I forget.
I use username, and strangely, it
There we
gave me
go.
J Lamazny, which I never use.
Okay, I have 424 points, which is I didn't realize that I had so many. And let's see if my map is also accurate, because I have that problem myself where it puts my house like further up the street than it actually is.
Well, like check this out. Here, I'm in the map editor, and it lists the drives that I've taken. Tells me I was on the road. I was using Waze for 18 minutes yesterday, 21 minutes on November 24th, 37 minutes on November 23rd, an hour and 16 minutes on November 23rd. And if I click on that, it brings up that drive in the editor.
That's awesome. For some reason, it thinks I'm in Mexico.
Oh, you just put in your address in the bar.
Yeah, it still thinks I'm in. Whatever. Oh, it's not important. It thinks I'm in France and all kinds of weird places. Oh, maybe I have to put Trenton.
Yeah, probably.
That's just ridiculous. No, but it's alright, I'll mess with it later. But anyway, so I just wanted to say that I am now a Waze aficionado.
Very good.
Big fan of it. Loving it. Glad it's finally available on my platform of choice, and I'll be using it quite a bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything to add for you on about Waze?
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing about Waze is that it adds the social layer that Google navigation does not have, and they bought it, and it's absolutely fantastic. It really gives an opportunity for you to give real data about driving, and we spend so much time driving. At least I do. Spend so much time driving, and not only does it tell me where I need to go and how to get there and gives me variable voices, but it allows me to modify the understanding of that experience for others by saying that there's an obstruction or saying that there is heavy traffic. You know, tonight there was an accident on Route 1, and things were a mess up here. And so not only did it allow me to take a different route, you know, I have like a back way that I go,
Mm-hmm.
but near your old apartment, by the way.
Oh, okay.
And like I had to get the rider, and it was 6 o'clock, and I figured it would be clear because it's 6 o'clock, and it wasn't at all. I left at like 4:30, and I just got there in time.
That's terrible.
Yeah. So, but during the drive, there were several points at which I was in unexpected traffic. And in some cases, other people had indicated that there was traffic, which is why I went the way that I went. But then in other cases, it was up to me to indicate that there was a lot of traffic. And you can give varying levels of the traffic. And the fact that it's free is fantastic. It would be nice if it was open source, but I'm not surprised that it's not. But it does give you the ability to edit, which is something you can't do at all on Google navigation.
No, it's a very strongly crowdsourced solution, and it's done in a really great, I think, way. I can't think of any other crowdsourced platform that works, I think, as well as this. You know?
I agree, and I am hot and cold about crowdsourcing. You know, I certainly don't like crowdsourced design. I think it's going to be the death of my industry. But it's when everybody benefits from the changes. You know, the only thing that I think crowdsourcing for map editing harms is, you know, a map maker, and I don't know too many of those. You know.
Right. Yeah. We don't know too many cartographers.
No, cartographers. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we are way up on Waze, and we'll keep talking about, you know, improvements to that system, and I think they're very young. I think that there was a time when I wasn't sure they were going to be able to make it, and then all of a sudden they were a hit because they added value to that methodology.
Yeah. I'm screaming from the rooftops about them. You know, I'm letting everybody know that I'm using them, that I'm loving them, and I hope more people will check them out. Now that they're available on all three major platforms, there's no reason not to.
And as you said, you know, it was sending you to France and it was sending you all over. They are an Israeli company.
Right.
And so unlike, I think, other navigation systems that are pretty purely focused on American roads, you know, I mean, you can certainly travel internationally with other systems, but an Israeli company is not going to be primarily interested in America, whereas other systems might.
Right. So, cool. So thanks for that tip. Now that we've talked about it even more, I hope our fans will check it out as well.
I agree. So what else did you want to talk about tonight?
So, why I didn't bring this up earlier in one of our earlier episodes is surprising to me, but I figured now would be a good time to talk about it. I got a knock at my door one day back in, I think it was September. It was a college student, and he was asking me if I would be interested in getting a free estimate on a new roof for my house. And the reason I accepted the student's offer was because my cousin actually worked in the home improvement business. He was a salesman in the home improvement business. And he used to tell me all the time that they would use college students to go door to door in neighborhoods. And every time the college student would get a referral, meaning they would get somebody to make an appointment, that college student would get $50 to $100. So knowing this, I helped the kid out. I said, sure, no problem. I'll take the appointment because I'm interested in what a new roof would cost anyway. It's something I got to do at my house. And so he gave me all the information about the company. I made the appointment on the spot with the home office. I did some research on the company after the fact. Found out a very legitimate home improvement company, very large home improvement company. They're featured on Extreme Home Makeover whenever they do like an episode that is on a house in the tri-state area here. They're almost always involved. So they're very reputable, so I knew right away that this was not some fly-by-night operation. So I had this salesman come out. He came to my house for an estimate, and just figured he'd come, take some measurements, talk to me about the different products that they offer, be a half hour, 45 minutes tops. 2.5 hours later, the guy finally left my house.
What was he doing for 2.5 hours?
Well, that's what I'll tell you. The guy shows up, young guy, but totally a salesman, like full-on salesman, like dressed like in a nice suit, young kid, fast talker, drove a BMW, just like total, like just reeked of salesmanship. And he wanted to tell me about he literally took a laptop out, set it up on my coffee table, and I actually got a PowerPoint presentation in my family room.
Wow.
Yeah, no joke. And it was a PowerPoint presentation on the history of the company, why they're like a well-respected, reputable company. Then it launched into a presentation about their products and how they only use the highest quality products, and why their method for installing roofs is better than everybody else's, this, that, and the other thing. And this also included, where is it? Hold on a second. I got it right here. This included a handheld sample of actual roof shingling. So you can see here, all different kinds of shades of colors and textures. And then he gave me this material that they put underneath the shingles, and he was like, "I want you to try and rip this. Try and rip it in half. Go ahead." And he also had like a little model house that he took apart. Like,
he's like, "Try to smash it. try to smash it like Godzilla."
It was crazy, and I'm just like, "What the heck is going on?" Like this guy. And meanwhile, Crystal was getting a hair and makeup trial in our kitchen for our wedding. So her makeup artist and her hairstylist were in my kitchen doing her hair and makeup as this was going on. It was a very surreal evening in the Petrowski house that night. And so after all this, he finally is like, "All right, well, I'm going to measure your house." And so he measures, he goes and does the measurement, which is a pretty standard process. He gets the measurement wheel thing, and he walks, the sidewalk in front of your house. He does a couple other things, and then he's like, "I want to go up in your attic." He goes up in my attic and checks stuff out, and just like nonsense. And then, he talks to me about, well, this is what I'm seeing, and you definitely should have your roof replaced because of this, that, and the other thing. And so just totally intense. I feel like I did actually get like a major knowledge on roofing that I never had before. So I did get school. I really didn't need a lesson in roofing. I just wanted someone to come out and tell me how much it would cost. And
That wasn't what you were looking for.
no, yeah. So after everything was said and done, meanwhile I was up front when I with this guy's like, listen, I'm getting married in a month. I don't have money to pay for this. I was told that your price quotes are good for a full calendar year. That's where I'm looking. Maybe later in the year I'll be looking to do this. So he was, he knew up front that that's where I was at, and that was definitely not going to be purchasing any roofing there on the spot. So he quotes me a price, which I believe was, if I remember correctly.
Wait, let me guess. $12,000.
Oh no, I wish it was $12,000.
What?
Yeah. It was. I believe he quoted me at 17.5 or 17.8.
Wow.
And this is part of the story that I'm trying to tell here. So he quoted me at that price. And this was for new roof and gutters, by the way, not just the roof. And so I was like, oh, wow, I wasn't expecting it to be that much. And, well, I'm glad, that the quote's good for a year. And he's like, well, if you can commit to me today, right here on the spot, before I leave today, we'll knock $3,000 off the price. And I was like, wow, that's great. I really wish I could do that, but I can't. I don't have that type of money right now. And so he was like he was coming up with all these other scenarios, like, well, what if we just do the garage roof, and and this way you'll get the discount for whenever you do the rest of the roof later on. And I just was like, I can't do this. And he's like, okay, fine. And so, like I said, 2.5 hours later, he left, and I had a $19,000 roof estimate. So 2 days later, I get a phone call from the company. Hi, this is so and so. I am the salesman who came to your house's supervisor. I wanted to do a follow-up call with you to see how the sales call went. Was so and so professional? And I had to give a survey. And I was like, oh, it was very professional, very knowledgeable, very nice, And the guy was like, oh, that's great. And, he's like, another reason I'm calling is I'm looking over the price quote, and, this guy's new. He's new to the team. He quoted you a lot higher than we would normally quote for a job like yours.
Of course.
So what I want to do is I want to personally come out to your house. And I want to give you another estimate that's more in line with our pricing structure. And I was like,
since you balked at the 17,000.
Yeah. So I was like, that's great. Yeah, I would really appreciate that. And I was like, this guy was here at my house for like 2.5 hours, though. I mean, how long are you going to be? He's like, oh, we don't need you you've already sat through everything. He's like, literally, this will just be like 15 minutes. Just come measure the house. I have all of your products, the products that you're interested in here, and I'll just give you a new quote. I'll be in and out in 15 minutes. I was like, oh, okay, great. So I made another appointment for that. It was about a week. It was like 3 to 5 days later. Meanwhile, I happened to get a call from my cousin, who is no longer in the home improvement business, and he was just calling to see how I was doing, what's going on. And I said, by the way, he's like, let me ask you a question. So I told him about the company. I told him about this, how the guy was over at my house for 2 hours. I was like, what's going on with these guys? And I told him how the guy was coming out again, the supervisor, and he goes, that's their move. He goes, they'll send up to 3 additional people to your house. Like, they'll call, and say, oh, this quote isn't in line with what we want. He says, they'll do that to you up to 3 times. And he said the way that their pricing is they come in like 20% higher than everybody else, and the lowest they'll come down is 10% above market. Basically meaning like the average price that you would get for a roof, they'll only come down, the lowest price that they'll come to is 10% above everybody else. And they'll never match anybody else's quote or go below it or anything like that. He's like, so you can have all those guys come out. The best that you're going to do is 10% above what anybody else will give you. And I was like, oh, well, that's ridiculous. He goes, I still have contacts in the industry. Let me send a guy out to you, and I'll get a quote from my guy. I was like, okay, sure. That's great. He goes, but he's like, you're not the best price you're going to get. And he says 10% over, I think would have been like $13,000 or $14,000. And he says that's $3,000 or $5,000 more than you pay from anybody else. And I was like, okay, good. So I called the company back. I canceled the appointment, and that was that. Meanwhile, a week later, my cousin calls me and says, listen, I just want you to know your roof estimate is being done right as you speak. I was like, what? Meanwhile, I go ahead and I look out the window. I see there's a roofing van sitting right in front of my house. The guy is sitting in the van. He didn't even have to get out of the van.
No, because he can see from your house and do an estimate. He doesn't need to do the whole, walking down and showing you samples and nonsense.
Yeah, so he's like, just this guy's going to be here for a while. Don't be alarmed if you see him, around your house. I said, okay, thanks. So literally, I didn't even see this guy's face. Crystal and I had some stuff to do. I got ready, and then we left for the day. The guy was already gone by the time we got ready to leave. And I noticed in my door there was a scrolled up paper with an estimate on it. And the guy came in, around $10,000.
That sounds about right.
And he's using the exact same materials as this company, the same methodology, the same everything. And like I said, $7,000 to $9,000 cheaper than the initial quote that I received from this company. So just thought it was crazy that they would send somebody out, and then if you balked, call you and say, oh, well, this isn't in line with what we do, this guy's new, and then even be willing to do that additional 2 more times just to try and get your business.
Oh, I bet they do it with a lot of people.
I'm sure, and they're probably successful at it too, because like I said, they're on Extreme Home Makeover. They are they have major office space in 3 states. They have entire office buildings. It's crazy. I didn't know a home improvement company outside of Home Depot or Lowe's could be that substantial. But yeah, there you go. So I thought that was a pretty crazy. It was one of the most bizarre experiences I've had as a homeowner so far when it comes to getting a quote, for my house.
Well, having had a couple of houses in my life and now living in an apartment, mm-hmm. it is a reminder to me of how relieved I am to not have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear that for you, at least, because it is a crazy industry, and if you don't know what you're doing, you can definitely be taken for a ride.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, what else is going on, Sean?
Got my PlayStation 4. I've had my PlayStation 4 for like 2 weeks. I've been doing a lot of research on what's going on with the Xbox One. I'm not ready to talk about it yet. I still think there's a lot of information to still be gathered before we have a formal conversation. But I want people to know that the eagle has landed, so to speak, and I am doing major analysis and research.
I saw you've been posting some screencasts.
Yes, it's one of the really awesome features of both systems, actually. But the PlayStation 4 is the only one that launched with the capability. Yeah, you can broadcast on the PS4 via Ustream or Twitch. I don't know if you're familiar with Twitch.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's like a Ustream just for gaming, actually, and it's pretty awesome. I like that capability, being able to make clips or have people watch you in real time. It's pretty amazing, and a lot of articles I'm reading right now are saying that capability is the future of console gaming, which is something that doesn't I haven't really fully processed yet, but
Well, this was happening kind of naturally on YouTube. Like, there's a lot of Let's Play channels where
absolutely, yeah,
instead of talking about customer service, they're just sort of they have a show about how they're gaming.
right. Like it
And
literally, this is just video of somebody going through a level, and you can
exactly right.
and see what they're doing to finish the level.
And they're really popular. So
Very,
it makes sense that these consoles are doing this, strategically.
yeah, natively too. And I mean, you just was reading too that Minecraft, the PC version of Minecraft, has built-in broadcasting support through Twitch as well, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So that's being in beta tested right now. So it's not really rolling out. And I think the new Counter-Strike also has that capability too. But it's not really widely adopted yet in the PC space. But really the only method, tons of people do it, but they have to have an external broadcasting device that hooked up to their computer to do it.
Right, like a Black Magic or something like
exactly. So now that software makers, game makers are integrating the functionality into their games, I think you'll see more widespread adoption. It's very cool.
It seems like that could extend to other kinds of applications too. I know that it's been present in PowerPoint for a while.
Yeah.
But I'm always surprised that I don't see it executed more often. And if there was a share this screen on every Google app, I would probably use it all the time.
Yeah, it would be huge.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I've been talking about around. That's what's been going on with me. Just been taking that in, soaking it in like a sponge. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really had anything memorable or substantial happen to me. How about you? Anything with you?
No, not really. I've just been trying to stay out of trouble,
Yeah.
So we're about to enter a hiatus, yeah?
Yeah, so Crystal and I are actually going on a honeymoon soon.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So I'll be away for a week coming up, and the holidays are upon us as well, which is always a busy time. You being a father, I know that's a big time for families.
Definitely.
Big time for us. I have to do a lot of traveling, typically in December. So I think we took a break around the same time last year as well.
Yeah.
We will return in January sometime. You and I will figure out when.
Yeah, it sounds good to me.
And I'm glad we got to do one more before we. I know you were sick.
Yeah.
And we had some scheduling conflicts the last couple of weeks, so it was good that we got to do one more before we took our break.
Agreed, and I wanted to extend a happy Thanksgiving to you. I'm very thankful for you.
Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours as well. I'm very thankful for you and the time that we spend together each week.
Agreed entirely. I will talk to you soon, my friend.
All right, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.